empiezo il directo, espera un poco.
You're streaming the meeting now? The presentation?
Streaming upload. Yes,
Yeah, it's streaming on live, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, tu peux commencer.
Je peux commencer?
Ouais.
Okay, so you guys, are you ready for the presentation?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah! Okay, so my presentation is about, I'm looking for contributors. So before I had Matogren, who was very involved in the project, but he started to work and now he's no longer very available, so I'm looking for someone else to contribute, because alone you can do a lot, but contributing and sharing the work is much more appreciated. So I'm looking for someone to contribute to my project. Yeah, so I already did a presentation to the last libcurrency meeting. So it was 2.5 years ago. So I also did a presentation on how to contribute to Silkaj. I went to along every aspect of the part of the contribution about the project. So a bit of the development environment, also about the code and everything, how the command line is developed with the framework that Silkaj is using. So you can go to this link. I will show you. Here, all my presentation and slides are available. So you can find here the videos which was published on YouTube, and also the presentation that you can check if you want to refer to my previous presentation. So it's kind of a remake, but this time I'm really looking for a contributor, or many if there is some. So what are we going to talk today? So the prerequisite for contributing to Silkaj, what are the goals of the project? Then I will mostly talk about the development environment, because I spend a lot of time. That's also what I'm doing on my job. So we will go through this. So the framework of test, we'll talk about it, the CI/CD integration, and the future development that are planned. So of course the prerequisites are having knowledge in Git, so knowing a bit about GitLab, and of course you need some motivation, because it takes some time. You need to get involved, so of course it takes time, and yeah. So what is Silkaj project about? So I started this project like 5 years ago. So the project is aiming at creating a generic tool, so to manage your wallet, your accounts, so in every aspect of it. So the web of trust, managing your currency, so transferring money, checking your history of your transaction, a lot of stuff. Also monitoring the currency. So right now we have almost all of the web of trust commands which are implemented. We are managing all the documents on. So the sending the certification, the handling the revocation document, and the membership. We are missing the identity one, but of course we won't implement it since we are going to migrate to Substrate. So the idea is to now rewrite everything to use Substrate. So I will talk about it in a further slide. So of course there is the money aspect handling, and it's kind of there is some tools to explore the blockchain itself. So the target audience of these softwares right now is for advanced users. So it can also evolve to more public user, but we will see in the next slides. And of course the tool is meant to be minimalist, so not much code. So over the 5 years that I've developed it, I figured out that the software, as much as you have code, the much you have to maintain code. So the less you have code, so the less you have to maintain code, and it's better for the future over time for maintenance of stuff. So and also one of the goals is to have advanced features. So it would be a which have much more advanced features than the other clients. So for instance, today we have a multi-recipient transaction. We can send one transaction with many recipients, as well as we specify a different amount for all of them. That's a possibility that the other clients don't have today. So Silkaj is using Python. This is a quite easy language. The learning curve is not very high, so that's easy for everyone to enter into this language. For instance, Matogren wasn't a developer. He was coming from the architecture part of the world. And yeah, so he managed to learn and use it, and it's really like a natural language, so you can get it inside quite quickly. Yeah, I would like to talk about how the project is planned. So I'm trying to plan in advance what are the future development which are going to be used, to be implemented or to be fixed or stuff. Everything is on the GitLab ticket system, so everything is listed. There is also some milestones which are listing what is there, and I'm trying to plan to put these changes to be happen in this release and stuff. Everything is planned, is public, so you can check what, yeah, today I'm alone, what is planned for the next, for the future, and you can get in and change things. So I will show you also a bit about what it looks like. So here we have the list of all the improvement or bug fix that are here, and the milestones are quite clear. So right now we have the 0.11 development milestone. So we have here the date when we are going to freeze the software. We keep like 3 weeks to make it, yeah, to test it, to test the release candidate, and then we'll release it. So right now we have some, yeah, everything is explained here, so you can check more in detail what's going on, who is working on what. Everything is clear. Yeah, so yeah, I wanted to talk about also the mentoring. So I can mentor someone to enter into the project. I can help him to get much more further into the project. So that's what I did with Matogren. So yeah, I told him, maybe you can do this and get to start with something small, and then a bit much more tough to continue with. And today, the last development he managed to do was write all the handling of the revocation document, so generating it, checking it, saving it, and also sending it to the network, all this kind of stuff. And it's quite a long script he managed to write, very complex one. So yeah, that's it for the planning. So then I will mostly talk about the development environment. That's what I'm very good in, and what I will talk about, because actually we're gonna migrate to Substrate, so I won't show you anything about the current Juniper v1 and the BMA interface, because all this is gonna be trashed. So yeah, so I spent quite a lot of effort into having a very brilliant development environment. So starting with that, I introduced Poetry. Poetry is a tool, so it's used to have a virtual environment, so it doesn't mess up with your Python dependencies from your system. So everything is isolated in a virtual environment. So that's one thing. And it handles the your Python dependencies. It's going to download them from PyPy. The PyPy is the Python package repository, and you can also publish your release to PyPy. So for instance, we can check the one from Silkaj here. This is test. So this is where you can download Silkaj with pip install Silkaj, and Poetry is taking care for you to install them, to upload them there, the release there. So this is Poetry website, and everything is clearly documented, how to use it and stuff.
How does it compare with pip?
So Poetry is an upper layer from pip. It's using pip in the background, kind of, I think so. So there's also the virtual environment, and publishing the release to PyPy, which pip is not doing.
Okay.
You usually have to use other tools, such as Twine and Wheel and stuff. It's kind of tricky, and now you just do Poetry publish, and that's it, it's there. Yeah. So here you can find the documentation to install Poetry. So to install the virtual environment, if you are on Debian, you need some software, so pip, of course, to install Poetry, the virtual environment, and libsodium. We are currently using this library, this C library, for some basic, for some cryptographic stuff that Silkaj is bind on top of it using Juniper-P, the Python library for Juniper v1. Then you install with pip Poetry on your user home. You clone the repository and then just run Poetry install. So the Poetry install will simply, is it enough? Is it big enough? So yeah, I would need to, let's do it. Yes, of course. Is it big enough? Yeah. Okay. So it's going to resolve all the dependencies and look for them. Okay, so in the meantime, and then you just have to run Poetry Silkaj. It will call it and start it, yeah. That's it, Poetry, run Silkaj. And that's it, you have Silkaj here with the help, the usage of it. Then during the last milestone, I introduced another tool, which is called Precommit. This one is very convenient for, it's providing some Git hooks. So I can show you the website. Everything is well documented and stuff. And there is some hooks here. A long list of them, and I mostly took very interesting one from for Python development. So I will show you. I can run Precommit on all the files, so it's gonna run some hooks, some tools, other tools. I will explain you. So everything is passing. There is some stuff which are failing here, you can see. And if I want to make a change, for instance, to this file, if I introduce a typo, I don't know. It should fail. No, it didn't. Okay.
Just remove the line.
Okay, so usually if a fail check, you can't commit your changes. That's very convenient, and there's a lot of things to check. So I will explain you one of the main hooks that I have. So there is black. This is the famous code formatter for Python. So it's reformatting your code for you. You don't have to do it manually. That's very convenient. And there is isort, which is sorting the imports at the beginning of the file for you. There is pylint and mypy. This is the two hooks I'm working on, the two tools I'm working on right now. They're going to be soon ready in the main branch. So this is a lint tool, and mypy is taking care of checking the static typing of the Python. This is very convenient if you mix up some type and stuff. So it's not checking them at the runtime, but on the code itself. So yeah, that's why it's called a static type check. Then there is flake8, which is also doing some checks, quite interesting, and pyupgrade, which is upgrading your syntax to new Python version.
So you mean you don't do it on the runtime on your editor? You apply all the flake and all that afterwards?
No, I was just talking about mypy. This one is not checking at the runtime, but yeah, all of these are not at the runtime. They are when you are developing your software, and it's checking all of them.
Is there only the command line version, or you also have a guide version?
Sorry?
If there is only the command line version, or is of Silkaj, or is there also a guide version?
Okay, so I will come to that later.
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can also. Did I put it in my slides? Yeah, you can check all the files and just specify one of the hooks in here. And yeah, I forgot to mention you install pre-commit with apt, and then just run pre-commit install. It will install all the hooks, and then yeah. Yeah, that's it for pre-commit, I think. Then we are running PyTest, so there is already a built-in Python test framework into Python, which is called Unitest, but we are using an external one which is much more advanced, called PyTest. So this one is so we have around 235 tests around all the commands and the tools inside Silkaj. The end-to-ends are taking some time. There are some which are failing. So now you know you broke something. That's a very convenient framework for test. And then we have the GitLab CI/CD, which is a tool we are intensively using. So it's running the pre-commit hooks inside, the PyTest. I will show you a bit about them. Yeah, PyTest, that was it. So here we can see a pipeline with all the jobs. So here we have all the hooks. Flake8, yeah, this is black format, isort, pyupgrade, and yeah, it's also checking that the build of the Python wheel, this is the way of generating a Python package it's building. Then we are running PyTest on all the supported Python version here, so Python 3.7 till Python 3.10. And then we have some, we can generate Docker images for Silkaj. Silkaj will be included inside, so yeah, I won't enter into the details, but yeah, and at the end, yeah, there is also a job when you are creating a release, you are putting a tag, it will create some jobs where you can upload them to PyPy. I don't know if I have it there, but Okay, anyway. Okay, so the future development, of course, Silkaj is going to be ported and migrated to substrate usage, so using the RPC interface as well as using the what is it, the document, how do we call them? Extrinsics. We are going to call the extrinsics for that. So yeah, Silkaj is currently using JuniterP AP library for that. I don't know the future about this project, but it will most likely stop because we are going to use our own library. Let's see what the future holds. And there is quite a nice library for substrate in Python. So this part, so Vit from Tika is already using it. I haven't touched it yet. I haven't read the documentation really. So this is one of the next goals to be achieved.
Did you do JuniterPy yourself?
So JuniterPy was firstly developed by Inso and Kaner Kanda. They both developed it, and then Vit came inside and also contributed to Sakya, which was the Python client from before. And then I migrated Silkaj to JuniterP, and I had to adapt quite some stuff to have it to make it to have it inside Silkaj. So yeah, contributed quite a lot to JuniterPy. Yeah, so Silkaj today is using a command line interface, and I was thinking for quite a long time, but I wanted to have quite a strong backend first before starting with the GUI. So yeah, I don't know what the goal will be, but maybe the goal would be to manage many GUI, so maybe just a command line interface, also having a graphical interface, and also having kind of a console interface. So I don't know if you see what is a console interface or not really. So yeah, a command line interface, your screen is always moving, but if you're in console, it will stay into your terminal, always inside this, and yeah, you can do some funny stuff. So today we are using a Click framework for the command line interface. This is this software, so it's a very good Python framework for command line interface, very well documented, and yeah, there's quite a lot of features.
Especially since version 8.
Yes.
Because yeah, it's a lot of features in version 8.
So yeah, you can see here. So we managed to develop sub-commands as well. There is revocation, then you can specify save your file. You also have options, or some of them call them flags. You can specify flags per sub-commands, and for instance, I don't know, but yeah. And yeah, currently we are displaying some tables. So everything is displayed into a table. So we are still using another one which is called tabulate, but we are going to migrate to text table. That's a merge request from Matogren, which is going to enter into the main branch. And one of the things I wanted to do is to migrate to GTK3 or 4. And there is a binding library between Python and C, because GTK is written in C. So that would be a future development that I would be interested to invest inside this. So GTK, I really like the interface. I don't know about the how it is to develop with this framework, but I really like what can be done in some softwares. Yeah, for instance, you can do such softwares. This is a player for music, so you can get nice stuff here, and resizable art cover.
That is a 4 or the 3?
This one is using GTK3.
The 3.
Yeah, but GTK4 is also also Gary, and you can get what is it? Yeah, resizable interface, so you can also fit it into a mobile. So today we have also the Librem and PinePhone that would be interested to have this software on the mobile platform. This is PyGObject, and yeah, I was also looking for ncurses library for Python, and I found one which is quite interesting called Bless, where you could do such a stuff. If you could get Silkaj in this kind of stuff, that would be so nice. Also, you can run it from a remote server, and for instance, if you could see your certification and in another window send your transfer some money, or could also get a graph. Yeah, that's mostly it. So there is some link, of course, the forum, Junitia, the technical one, the XMPP chat room, Matrix, I don't know if it's still running, but, and you can check Silkaj website. This is still the old one. You can get some basic info. The repository is here. And also there is a file contributing. You can get all of the basic information for any development. So the usage of, I don't know, there is poetry, pre-commit, GitLab, CI/CD, the test, yeah, how to upload a release. Yeah, a lot of stuff. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Do you have any question?
Yes.
Yes?
How do you see the fact that there are two Python GUI software if you're doing GTK in Silkaj
Mm-hmm.
in competition?
Yeah.
Because Vite has the idea with Tika to do a generalist software, but dedicated for professionals.
Mm-hmm.
And is the overlap large enough so that we can bring our efforts in only one software, or is it a good idea to keep two?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, actually, we talked about it, and yeah, I don't want to use a Qt framework for now. And yeah, he's also targeting, yeah, as you said, professional users. That's not what I want for Silkaj. I want to target, yeah, normal user and advanced users. And I also prefer GTK interface, but I'm not sure we will go there, but that's something maybe to consider.
And from the library points, maybe, because there is a Python library to access a substrate,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe we could do an overlay on this to
Mhm.
make it easier. Could this part be shared between, like a Juniper but for substrate?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. That's, yeah, if the substrate library is not enough for us, and we need an upper layer, a wrapper around it. That would be, I think we could continue this into Unity API project itself. Don't think it makes sense to create a new project based on this, and in Unity API we will deprecate BMA and all the stuff we won't need anymore, so we can still have both Unity API 1 and V2 and all the API support all together at the same time. Yeah, it still makes sense to have a common library between the softwares, of course. Yeah.
Was Tika using also Unity Pi before?
So actually Tika kind of started with BMA and GVA APIs. Actually, it's inside the dependencies of Tika, but he's not using much more of it, and also he's now migrating to Substrate usage, so he's kind of not really using Unity API in his code. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He hard-coded the project, or he's doing it in a different library for using the Substrate
no,
contribution?
yeah, actually he's using the Substrate API, Python API, library, but yeah, he's mostly developing his wrapper into Tika, but
Inside Tika.
yeah, inside Tika, yeah, he's more into experiencing stuff, and maybe we can move this in a common repository. So the Python environment would take advantages of this common code, yeah, based for our needs, for Unity needs.
And with Silkaj, you targeted the advanced user, but with the graphical user interface, you want to also target the basic user. Do you want to do a graphical interface for basic user, and the advanced user will have to stick to command line? Or do you want to do a two interface or a modular interface that can be extended to include advanced functionalities? Did you ever think about that?
Yeah, not really a plan, but I think the advanced usage can be in both in the command line and in the GUI interface. Still possible, but I think also the command line interface is much more advanced. You can do much more stuff than with the GUI. But both should be manageable for advanced usage, I think. Let's see.
Do you plan to use advanced functionalities from the indexers, like statistics or other things that just managing the weight?
What do you mean? To do some graph about the currency and the what? Or
Graph global statistics.
I don't have any plan to do any graphics to display some information, but that could be a contribution. I'm open for that, yeah. Did I answer your question? Yeah? And you were talking about indexer, or if it's going to read the indexer, or no?
Just ask the indexer for the data.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's a possibility, yeah. Anything else?
And you talked about running Silkaj with graphical interface on the mobile phone.
Yeah.
So how is GTK responsive enough to use the same UI on both, or should we build two different interfaces?
No, it's already, there is already some software. The two I showed you, so Lollipop and Gary, it's already responsive on a large screen of desktop and also on a mobile phone. It's working quite well, I would say.
Vit is saying in the chat, Unity Pi will be useful for unifying RPC calls and indexes, GraphQL calls.
Okay, so the RPC calls and the GraphQL.
Yeah.
Are we going to use any GraphQL?
Yes, if we use Azure.
Okay, yeah. Okay, makes sense. Mm-hmm.
Some years ago, there was many function with we start with a command line command
Yeah.
and continue with interactive question, and it look automating process. Does it still with many interactive steps,
Mm-hmm.
or can it be used in fully automated environment?
Yeah, actually today there is quite some step in between. It's asking you, do you want to read the G1 banking license, not currency license? Do you want to read it? Yes, no. Do you approve it if you read it? And then, yeah, there is intermediate steps. And yeah, I understand this can be annoying and not fully, you can't do any automated stuff from this point of view. And is your question, can we fully automate it?
Yes.
Yeah, that could be with some options. But I don't know if it makes sense that you can certify in an automated way. Would it make sense?
For the test currency, maybe.
Yeah, but for the test currency, there is the G1 license is not, for instance, not displayed. It's not ask anything.
Okay.
Not asking. This is not.
For me, it would be useful to don't use Silkaj as end user interface,
Yeah.
but at middleware for a UI who use it.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, there were some guy who were kind of passing the output from Silkaj, but it's changing, and I don't want to maintain a stable interface because this is not the way to work.
Yes.
You should use the Python function and method and the calls, and not use the command line interface as a software interface. This is still for a person to use it. But I think most of the stuff can be automated. About the transaction, the transfer of money, I don't know. There is maybe some question, but yeah, you can put flag yes, so you don't have to confirm your transaction, and it will be sent. Yeah, just for the Web of Trust documents, I didn't want to have them fully automated. So maybe for the membership would make sense, but do we want to have certification that a bot could or a cron could send? For the test, it makes sense, but not for the. Yeah, for the testing currencies, of course, it makes sense, and it's possible right now, but not for the production currency.
I guess C-bills are working on that.
Yeah. But of course, you can do it if you want to hack Silkaj. You can do it. There's no. It's easy.
Some off-topic news, but if you open Potel.js, you will see in 5 minutes we have the chrono. In 5 minutes, you will create the first universal dividend after the genesis. So
Nice.
It would be great to see this.
Should I show something?
We have champagne.
It would be great to finish the stream with that.
Do you have any further questions? Okay, then I show something.
But first, you get dividend in substrate in GDEV. First, universal dividend in substrate GDEV.
Second, because the first is in the genesis itself.
Ah, yes.
So at this epoch?
But in
Oh.
Genesis, it doesn't count.
Yes, is this chrono see 4 minutes. In 4 minutes,
Yeah,
the
4
end
minutes.
of the
Wait,
epoch on the first
Wait,
universal dividend.
Is it big
I
enough?
don't know.
We will see if it works or not. Then you will see, oh no, there is no universal dividend, that's so bad.
Maybe you stop recording before that.
4 minutes.
Yes.
Any question in the meantime?
Is there, because Python still doesn't have big ecosystem to export to native Android or iOS?
No, no, there's
no
not.
interest in that, I guess, from the community to
Not much, no.
have it. And you mentioned the Python because it's genome at the end, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So, okay.
Are there Easter eggs? Once I release my first Ready tool, I want to integrate Easter eggs into it. I think it's a
Where do
principal
you-
feature.
Sorry, where would you like to integrate an Easter egg?
When I release, for example, Gene itself,
Yeah.
I wanted to have Easter eggs.
Okay. Yeah. That's a nice feature if you want to contribute. Maybe I can. Maybe I can show. So I have the Python here. So like this is GNOME with Debian. So for instance, there is Gary. You can get the GTK interface here and check your mails. Yeah.
It's a good way to promote Pythons in the G1 community.
Yeah, and free software and stuff.
It's a good,
Because Android is not that much free software. Okay, 2 minutes to go.
For the universal dividend. Yes, talking about workflow and stuff like that. If you want, you are welcome if you want to improve the workflow for Juniper V2, to make suggestion about how we can use the GitLab and use milestone and issues
Yeah.
and CI. I can explain to you what I doing before and
Mhm.
how it works now, and maybe we'll have great suggestions on how to improve the work.
Yeah, you mean about the planning itself of the future development and as well as
Yes.
the CI/CD and all kind of DevOps stuff. Yeah, I'm very good at that. Of
That
course, I
would
can
be
help.
a
Yeah.
really great contribution
Mhm.
if you don't want to enter to the host code. So,
Yeah, sure.
a really great contribution.
Yeah, of course.
So,
38, 32.
2 seconds. But it will be maybe in the first block after the end of the chrono.
So would it be the first one? Would it be the first one, or did we create yesterday?
And the second, because the first 2D is created in the Genesis
Ah, yeah.
itself, and the second will be created now. It will be 100 GBs.
Sorry?
It will be 100 GBs.
Okay.
100 June. So we will see an event in the right panel.
12 seconds.
Yes, we see new UD created. It's what? In the block.
there you go.
Here.
This one?
Yes. You see new UD created here.
Okay.
If you click here. Then if you click in the details of this block,
Which one?
yes, this.
Which number? This one?
Yes. You will see the data about. You will see the balance deposit for each members.
Ah, okay.
Each members of the what receives the universal dividend.
Yay!
Because for now, the creation of the universal dividend is automatic. So for now, the creation of universal dividend is automatic. When the universal dividend is created, for all members there is a transfer.
Yay!
And there is a proposal to make this manual to let the user claim his UDs and receive all the UDs between the previous claim and the actual claim. But for now, it's automatic. There is no manual claim. So all the members receive.
You got yours? Yeah.
10,000 cents. So 100 GDs. It's work. It's great.
This is great. I stopped the
the recording.
Stream for now.
Okay.